Hey all, I'm Ashish Tulsian. I'm the founder and CEO at Posist, and I'm really excited for my podcast production.
A lot of my friends dream of opening restaurants. It is such an accessible dream. Quit your job, make food you're passionate about, in a location you're passionate about, and if you are good at what you do, the customers will throng to your restaurant. Ashish Tulsian is a serial entrepreneur who had a similar dream. While running a profitable bootstrap tech business, he started a restaurant on the side. But he soon realized that running a restaurant is incredibly operations heavy and making it profitable is incredibly hard. But not one to give up, he decided to use his tech background to make software tools to help him manage the restaurant. And in the last 10 years, those tech tools have evolved into a full fledged restaurant SaaS product called Posist. Posist is a rare SaaS business that is both global and profitable. And in this very special episode of the Founder Thesis podcast, Ashish Tulsian spills the beans to Akshay Dutt on what it takes to build a successful global SaaS business. Stay tuned and subscribe to the Founder Thesis podcast on any audio streaming app to learn how to build large profitable businesses with a global footprint through bootstrapping.
I wanted to do business as far as I can remember. I probably wanted to do a business in fifth class, in fifth standard, and I genuinely attempted to start my first startup when I was in ninth standard. This was the era of 99, 2000 dot-com boom. And I don't know if you remember this or not, or if you came across this or not. There used to be this first magazine in India called Chip. This magazine used to come with a CD. This
There
magazine
used to
was
be a
launched.
lot of such magazines which would have a CD,
Correct,
which
correct.
would
So
have shareware software.
correct, absolutely. So there was BP Quest, Data Quest, computers at home, Chip, and then eventually it became Digit. So I knew all these magazines. I remember April 98 was the first issue of Chip. And I think I bought that 100 rupees magazine back in 1998. 100 rupees was technically too much for a magazine. And I got held on computers early as well. So my dad got me a computer back in 93. Um, and that was again like a blessing of a different time. But I remember like all those magazines had a big impact on me. So from 98 to you can say up till 2006, these 8 years, I used to read 5 or 6 computer and tech magazines, and I used to read them front to back. I used to just, absorb everything like a sponge. So one of the things that happened is that in 99, 2000, Chip used to be full of these advertisements of web development company, web hosting companies and whatnot. And I got fascinated and I was like, all right, I'm going to kill Yahoo.com. So I built a legit business plan. I was in Delhi. So Gurgaon was getting a lot of these new age, Ivy League grads were their new salespeople. So I remember summer of 2000, I called one of these companies and I called them and I said, hey, I want to make a portal. And the guy on the other side was like, what? I said, I want to make a portal. He said, you mean you want to make a website? I said, no, no, no. I want to make a portal. I want to make a dynamic, stuff, not a lousy static website. The guy was ecstatic. He said, whoa, like this probably is the most qualified lead he has got. And he sent this guy, to my home in scorching heat of May in Delhi. And this guy came and I opened the door and he came in and he kept on looking here and there. And then he, and I was like, this,
Yeah,
my,
yeah, like a
so
ninth standard kid.
correct. And this guy then after like having water kept on looking at it and then was like, Mr. Tulsian? I said, yes. He said, no, I mean, Mr. Ashish Tulsian. I said, yeah, that's me. And I saw his jaw dropping. I saw him getting disappointed with life. And in that moment, I was like, oh shit, what have I done? This guy is not going to speak to me with, a lot of confidence. So what I did is I said, but wait, my dad is also going to join the meeting. So you just sit down and I come back. My dad was taking an afternoon nap and I went in and I woke him and I said, get ready, come out. And he said, "Oh, but for what?" I said, there's a guy who needs to sit with me in the meeting. He said, "What the fuck?" I said, he said, but what will I do there? I said, don't do anything. Whatever I'm saying, just say yes to it. That's all. So, so my dad actually sat down in that meeting and it took like good 15, 20 minutes of conversation where I was the one who was speaking and this guy was continuously looking at my dad and replying. And like it took 15, 20 minutes for me to win over him that, okay, I'm not stupid. And he started looking at so I did that. I bought some web space. I bought some domain name. And those days, Network Solutions was the only domain name registrar. So used to send money from here. So did all of that. And then in 10th standard, then my dad after investing this money on me, and it was quite mean money. I feel at times I feel guilty of making him spend 32,000 rupees then because I remember I bought web space. I bought web space for 16,000 rupees, 16 MB web space, and I bought a domain name for 8,000 rupees per year. And because I wanted a larger commitment, I booked it for 2 years. And that domain name was youthhangama.com. So then my dad convinced me, and after that he said, "See, I spent money for you. You have this web space for next 2 years. You can do whatever you want. You make your projects, try, do whatever. You have to commit one thing. Now that I'm on your side, you have to crack your 10th well, but the usual shit, right? Crack your 10th well and like things like that." So he convinced me. I was also kind of disarmed now, right? He spent 32,000 from me. I'm like, I can't speak now. So I basically got sucked into that, 10th completed. You get sucked into this IIT JEE prep, 11th and 12th. I think from that 10th class, I found myself straight into first year of college. I mean, in between it was a blur. So as soon as that happened, I started my first startup in second year at 10 because, and the day I started that, I actually, told my dad exactly the same thing. I said, you know what? I'm exactly now doing what I wanted to do 5 years back. So, and he was like, all right, you're free now. I'm not going to ask you to even complete your engineering. Do whatever you want. I'm okay. Yeah. So I think something inside me was definitely there that I wanted to start my own business. I don't know where it came from. Uh, uh, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely there in the way.
You started Youth Hangama as what? Like a community portal or what? Like,
Never happened.
never happened. Okay.
So basically, I used that domain and web space to learn a lot of web technologies. I kept on posting pages on that. I learned how to develop websites. So I think that remained a very experimental domain for me for a couple of years. It never got built.
Okay. Okay. So then what did you actually do as business? Like obviously by the time you were finishing your engineering, you would have thought of earning money.
No. So no. So as I said, my deal to start a business was like, I was just waiting for the escape velocity as soon as I'm off, you know, my parents' clause or whatever, the society clause. And that was college for me. So first year I, of course, lived around in college, did all the quote unquote college like shit.
Which year is first year?
This is 2003. Yeah. So I did my engineering between 2003 and 7. And that's what I think 10th class was 2000. So 2003, I just chilled around. I literally lived and spent it like college life. I was not interested in doing anything else. But then by the end of second semester, which is the end of first year, I got really bored and I was like, okay, now if next 3 years in engineering are going to be a copy paste of year one, this is going to be super boring and I'm not interested in this. This I can do any on site, like we can chill out with it. So in second year, I started, toying with the idea and I started wondering, what is it that I can do? And I mean, this is 2004. These are not the days of startups. Um, I think if you have to find your icons, there were a lot of them, but they were not popular. So Sanjeev Bikhchandani of Naukri, was a big one. Alok Mittal of JobsAhead.com was there. Alok Kejriwal of Contest to Win, Gears to Win was there. Vishal Gundal of India Gate. These were the few icons. The Make My Trip and so on, right? So these were the .com guys. They were the guys who basically crossed over the .com bus. And, as a ninth and 10th grader, my curiosity made me, read so much about these things that honestly, when I started my tech company and I met all these people and now, I know all of them, but when I met them for the first time, I actually could tell them by date or by months, by years, what did they do when. And I remember I was talking to Devesh Agarwal of IndiaMart.com, and while talking something, and he said, "Oh, by the way, in IndiaMart back in the day, we did that." I said, "Yeah, I remember October of '99." And he looked at me like this, and he was like, he's like, "How old are you?" 30. He's like, he said, "How the fuck do you know this?" I said, "Yeah, it feels like a long time, but honestly, I lived your journey so much in you those days that it always feels like I lived it." So I started toying with the ideas, and I think because those days were not the cool startup days or startup days at all. My idea in those days was that I wanted to earn money. I wanted to figure out if I can build something that somebody can pay something for. And logic was very clear that if I can charge you $2, I'll figure out how to make 2,000 or 2 million. But let me first validate if my skills are marketable, if my, production, can see some commercial value. So we started building websites. I roped in a friend of mine. We started building small
How did you
software.
get business? Did you also advertise in magazines?
No, no, no. I think this was very word of mouth, sort of thing. For example, I remember the first hustle, and as a student, what ideas do you get? Library management system, school website. I remember my first hustle was school's website back in 2004, and wherein, you know, I said, all right, I'm going to approach my own school. And I was a good academic student, and not that I was thriving for it. And I say this very, very humbly, but I was like one of those guys who were scoring well while not bothering about it. So life was good with teachers. My principal knew me, right? So I said, all right, I have access to my school and I have access to my principal. I'm sure I'm going to get business there. So I remember our first hustle was that we built a prototype of a full portal for school attendance and, whatever, parents can see it or like we had of it. Like that. So we went and pitched, of course, didn't get any business because I was also clear that I'm not going to give it for free. And I'm only going to give it to somebody who pays me money. And so I think our first break was, I think a friend, friend cousin said, "Oh, I need a software for uh, CNF, uh, carry forwarding agent." So they used to be rice business, and he gave us a requirement of a very simple small software. And I said, "All right, we can make it." And I think I quoted some 15,000 rupees. This guy gave me a check of 5,000 rupees advance. And I was like, dude, we are in the game. And I think we coded that over a month. We delivered first cut version to him, that month. He gave us another 10,000 rupees. And like we were super happy. Like we were on cloud nine because for me that 15,000 rupees meant road to 15 lakh or 15 crore. I was not really thinking of 15,000 or 15,000. And and then of course we started getting little projects. We built a website for someone and then started doing, going word of mouth. But then interestingly, what also happened is that this guy called us 6 months from then and he said, "Hey, can you install the same software's copy for my chacha who is in Pani?" So I thought we can do that. And we did that. And we charged another 15K. And that made me was 15K. And that was my first understanding of difference between services and product. And I was like, boss, ye karna hai, product karenge. We're not gonna continue digging these wells every day. We're gonna make sure that we make it once and it compiles. So that stayed with me. that second 15,000 and third 15,000 were really sweet. Uh, and so then we did a couple of different things. And then, I mean, we kept on getting different projects, but I think
You would
we,
have hired
we
developers and all, like the team.
yeah. So within first year of, which is my second year of college, we hired 3 people. We took a small office space. Again, this is not the end of who was staying and all of that, right? So like, people will not come and work. And thankfully, this was also not an era which boggles my mind when I look back. This is not an era where people will appreciate students doing business, where startup is an absolute no-go, where uh, engineers are not available technically. If you're a B Tech, you'll be working in infrastructure. And and the best you can get is BCA, MCA people, or maybe diploma holders from AppTech or NIIT. And they also want to work for a company. They don't want to work for an individual, leave alone a student. So I can tell you that these are the days when 2004, when we opened our first office, a very small office, but in a commercial center. And Delhi is also, I used to always envy people in Mumbai and Bangalore because these are the two places where you can open offices in a residential space and you're okay with it. Delhi is not like that. Delhi, you have to have an office. So we took a small 300 square feet office in a commercial space. I remember the first developer that we hired, he was 6 years elder to us. And,
Yeah, okay.
and the only saving grace was that he did not know that we are in college. And we made sure that nobody knew that we are in college. In fact, I think till the time we completed college, we never we made sure that we don't leak this information. And I think nobody from that era. So funnily, I hired this one very, very senior guy later in the story in Chennai. And that guy in those days was a project manager at Infosys. So he was 10 years experience already and technically whatever, 13 years senior to us. We worked with him. He worked with us for a year and then he moved on. We moved on from that project. 6 or 4 years from there, one day on social media on Facebook, I think back in 2012 or 11, he pinged me and he said, Ashish, dude, I just looked you up.
Yeah.
They said that you were calling in 2007. I said, yeah. He said, how is that possible? I said, wow, it's not possible. He said, I worked not for you in 2006. I said, yeah. So he said, you lied to me. I said, no, you never asked me that question. He was like, wow. So I think thanks social media was not this, popular. But I think today, I think things have changed in a very interesting way where, you know, I think startups have become so cool that for a student running a startup, people will flock and work for them.
Yeah,
Because,
absolutely. Like
because
Zepto is an example. Like two kids
no,
who
not good.
drive
Yeah, not
everywhere.
good. So I think today things are easier, but in those days we never told anyone that we are still in college. So in third year, which is 2005, is when we stumbled upon this opportunity of value-added service, SMS-based services. Value-added services in India was still picking
Yeah,
up,
with
and it
telcos.
was and we were not even sure if it was called that then. So it took a year for it to be started calling that. We were basically just trying to build SMS-based services, and this was the product idea that we stumbled upon while doing services. Because while doing services, there was a point where somebody kept on asking us, "Oh, can you automate the SMS? Can the SMS go?" And then we said, "All right, how will SMS go without a SIM card?" And that led us to so we started with telecom company. We stopped our services business in third year, and that was 2005. We started a telecom value-added services company. It was called Techno Effect. That was a successful run. I, came out of college while running that company. In 2007, I ended up hiring 3 of my batchmates, into that company. That was quite triumphant in those days. I won't be humble about it. And that was a good run because, as I
Was
said,
it
there
like
was
helping businesses with sending promotional and transactional
no.
messages?
So not promotional. We were doing enterprise business. We were doing SMS, transaction-based SMSs for a lot of banking clients, for mutual fund clients, for insurance companies. So we worked with MetLife Insurance, Birla Sun Life Insurance, SBI Aviation Fund, Taurus Mutual Fund. We did some audible volume of ICICI Bank. Then we got into this promotional business with telcos itself. So telcos, every telecom company had these promotional campaigns of a ringtone, caller tune, wallpaper, right? So they used to tie up with others, and then telco used to give their own subscribers database and used to give their own bandwidth. Our our game was that we built the SMS gateway. We built the gateway software, which was deployed on an SMS switching center. So terminology wise, it's basically that. And and when telcos used to do these promotions, they used to pay you on the conversion of it. So that was a big business. That was a pretty big business. And so we did all of
So
that. We did
in a
not do
way, it's like
promotional and marketing.
uh, like this was like a primitive programmatic advertising business.
I would
Telcos paying you on conversion.
correct. I would not even say that. Yeah. It was not that intelligent, honestly. It was very rudimentary. I think for us, the way we used to look at our business was very simple. We used to own the gateway. Gateway was required to schedule, send, make these SMSs happen because telco used to only limit their services to anything that runs through a SIM card because that was telco's primary business. Value-added services was a side thing to them. So they never wanted to get into that. Us as SMS providers, our understanding was simple that we used to get a bandwidth from telco. That bandwidth comes in transactions per second. So for example, I can take a 10 PPS pipe from Airtel. It means that I have a pipe which will throw 10 SMSs per second. Now you multiply it with time and basis how much can load that pipe you have built. And they used to charge us, let's say, 10 lakh rupees per pipe per month. So it will come down to whatever, 2 paisa per SMS, let's say, assuming, right? So it was a business where, how much can you sell and how much can you use that pipe? Because in telecom company, if you think about it, their inventory is airtime. So the time that you are not using your phone, their inventory is getting lost forever. The time is not going to come back, right? That is exactly why on festive days, towers get jammed because of the airtime. Actually, each tower works on like a 90% like on 10x loading. So if a tower can handle, let's say, 100 connections parallelly, it will be distributed to 1,000 people. But if
Or like
200 people
SMS
actually put a
pricing
call,
goes up for New Year, things
yeah,
like that.
it is
I
it is
used to. I
exactly the
don't think it
same.
does.
Yeah, it is exactly for the same reason. A lot of people think that, pricing goes up because telco wants to earn money. That is also true. But the bigger fact is that if they are not going to increase SMS's price back in the day, nowadays it's not even there. But if they will not increase the price, you will start sending so many SMSs that their network is going to jam. So they're going to lose revenue because of the jamming. So we used to increase the price and people used to think, oh, they're trying to make money today. No, they're trying to deter you from not sending it. So yeah, that was our business. We ran that business from 2005 to 11. And in
How much were
11,
you
we
earning at the peak? Like your ARR?
personally, so this company made a top line of 8.5 crore at the peak. And I think we peaked around 2009. 2009 के बाद our business grew, but our top line fell because SMS prices dropped. So country went through this SMS spam. So the SMS that I used to sell for 35 paisa, imagine in January of 2009, I used to sell this message for 35 paisa. In October of 2009, I was selling this message for 3 paisa, right? But thankfully, my volume also grew 20x. So technically we kept on, that's where we peaked. So by the way, our revenue also peaked when network prices went direct. I did a lot of SMS spam flash promotional campaign for political parties in 2009. So last Lok Sabha election, I did 80 crore messages for BJP. And yeah, that was LK Advani's campaign. It was his his, ambition to be the president of the prime minister. Uh, I think, and we did so much for so many. For example, this Andhra had this minister called Y.S. Reddy. He unfortunately passed away in a air crash. So for YSR, I did a campaign in 2009. I I think we were the guys who spammed every living soul in Andhra Pradesh, right from campaigning to also thank you after winning. We didn't leave them, right? So we spammed everyone, right? And this was the data given by 10 codes. So technically, we were absolutely the leader. But funnily, what happened is, unfunny in those days, as soon as government came in 2010, they were the ones who said, "Oh, by the way, there is too much spam in the country." I was like, "Dude, are you kidding? You are the guy who made this spam happen." So one of the reasons we sold off the company, exited in 2011, it was not because of any other reason, but because between 2009 and 11, I could clearly see that this is not going anywhere. So at the peak, to answer your question, I think we were doing 8.5 crore top line, but we were doing 1.5 crore profit after tax. So I think as a 23, 24 year old, my take home was pretty high, for that time. And I also kind of got disenchanted, with that money, because it's not that I said, "Yo, money is nothing and we should not earn money." It was like, I figured that, a crore rupees a year is not going to change your life anyway. And, and I started, feeling lack of scale. I started feeling stuck because, all the plans that I had in telecom, they used to get chopped off by some regulation, TRAI. Another thing was that I had
It
looked,
started coming in.
yeah, D&D was quite a crap. And I think my biggest thing was that I had global ambitions even then. So my ambition was to, run a business that I can run in 196 countries. And I want to see, the world with that business. I want to see what's happening happens on the ground. And I think the harder realization in 2010 was that telecom is one of the most regulated businesses in every part of it. Because, see, I was also too naive and I was also learning by experience. So I remember in 2010 when TRAI became active and regulations started hitting us, I said, fuck it. I want to see which country in the world has a great telecom, thing. And I realized, oh wow, even the most liberal country is also have a lot of regulation. Then I realized something more fundamental, that no government in this world is going to let go of communication backbone of the country. So telecom is going to remain regulated. And that was my point where I got like completely, I was not interested in this business anymore. And I basically said, well, I'm never going to put my hand in a domain where there is a government regulation directly to my business, unless I'm powerful enough to write the law, which a lot of people in our country and a lot of other countries do. So, so, so I think that was the time when a lot of consolidation was also happening, because DND and TRAI was killing a lot of people, and vast companies was consolidating between 2010 and 11. A lot of consolidation happened. So, very, very similar call we received. Spice Telecom, in those days was one of our largest telco customer. And Spice Telecom got sold to Idea. And, somebody from Spice Telecom came out, started doing M&A, and, we got an exit in between. And again, this was not the tech crunch exit. We were not looking for 10x revenue, right? We were very, very simple, right? Somebody was giving us 7x pad, and we were like, all right, here is the key. Go ahead yourself.
Yeah. And you had a co-founder here, or you were the sole owner?
No, I had a co-founder, and that was a friend of mine. So, in fact, he was the CTO, and his name is Nikhil Damas. So, he basically took an exit in 2011, and he has been chilling since. Not that we made enough money to chill for life, but this guy was too chill in his ways. So he does a lot of consulting and open source work. He's sitting in London but he never worked again, technically.
Got it. Okay. So what next for you?
Well, while this time of disenchantment was going on in 2010, I was also under distracted because this realization was really hard that, okay, I've built this business and looks like this business is not going anywhere. I mean, it will continue growing 20-30% year on year. It was massively profitable, but then, your fetish has changed. And as a 23-year-old, while, that 50 lakhs or a crore per year sounds very, very sweet, and it was sweet, but then you outgrow it faster than you believe, right? So, and that's the sad part of money. Money is great, but it doesn't really, hold you enough for long. So I basically started toying with different ideas, because I recognized that, okay, we have a tech team and we have, we ourselves are, product people, and probably we'll find something new. And, and I did a lot of random investments. For example, I put a mineral water plant, in Delhi, in Delhi CAD area. And we started making those 20-liter, mineral water bottles, just because we could. It was a good, sweet 20-30 lakh investment, and it started happening. And series of these things happened. And one of the things was restaurant. So I ended up investing in a restaurant also out of like purely adrenaline. And I think it was very stupid as well, because it was literally like a 24-year-old with a lot of money and decision making, and who was like going like haywire, like, oh, Akshay thinks dude, what do you think about restaurant? I'm like, no, it was absolutely stupid. But restaurant, so we opened a restaurant in 3 months, like actually we opened the door of the restaurant within 45 days of discussing that, okay, this is where our restaurant is going to be. So things were happening really fast, and we of course were overspending on things which we could have saved money on. And so restaurant was one of the projects which happened in between, and it screwed up. Like restaurant was one of the most difficult business. It did not only screw us on money, it hurt. It basically ended up hurting our ego, because we were failing, and we were not failing at things which we could forgive ourselves for. For example, if we were failing at food, I would have forgiven it. That, okay, cost restaurant. Yeah, we were failing at managing people. Food was great because food is a single point of success and failure, right? You have a good chef, you're in the game. So we chose a chef right. We chose the location of the restaurant right. We paid a premium on rent, but we failed on the math. We did not realize that our food pricing and our rental and everything, our unit economics is fucked up. We failed on people management. We grossly, uh, misunderstood or underrated how difficult it can be to deal with, a dishwasher, to a tandoor guy, to a chef or a sous chef or a delivery boy. We grossly misunderstood that. I think it is still misunderstood even today. Especially people who are like white collar tech, IT, typing your life away in a AC room. You don't know what goes on the ground. Only when you open any sort of business on the ground, on the road, that's when you realize for the first time, oh man, like this is why. And I think these things hurt our ego very, very bad. And I'm calling it ego because within 3 months of restaurant, so actually, like just to clarify the story, we basically hired a consultant, and this consultant did the whole turnkey for us. He said, "Don't worry, give me your money, and I will, do the entire magic for you." And he did that. He did that pretty, pretty well. We were, involved in the nicer parts of it. We were,
Scheme and brand name.
yeah, brand name, color scheme, tasting of the menu, right? So we were having a lot of fun, and we were like, oh, this is nice. It's only when first 3 months ended, your honeymoon period ended. And, one thing that, I kind of not now, given that I'm on the restaurant side, you know, uh, restaurant is actually a reverse business. Every other business that you start in the world, you know that it will start slow. You will not make any money in month one, month two, It will slowly grow. Restaurant is exactly reverse. You make a lot of money on day one. You make a lot of money in month one. You make lesser in month two, a bit lesser in month three, and after 4 you're fun. So it's a different problem, right? Because in restaurant space, if when your restaurant opens, you get you people buy novelty, people buy curiosity. If you have a decent food, people will come. You can sell the price. You can sell whatever you. It's only when repeat customer does not happen. That's when you realize oh shit, like month three is gone, right? So month one we made profit. I was like, dude, I was genius. So, so I think month three, one is that it of course started going down and issues started erupting. Month three was also the time when this consultant, we caught him thieving, stealing, manipulating account. And because I caught him, we flagged him out. As soon as we flagged him out, everything fell on my shoulders. From that Bartan Dhone Wala team, entire staff to delivery people to new actors in the play, which I didn't even recognize. MCD, police, health department, fire department. And I was like, who are you guys? And why the fuck are you bothering me? And I was in a space where I took all the licenses, I invested money in the right commercial space. So I was also very, very arrogant about it because if police wala is coming and saying, oh, give me free food, I was like, fuck you, man. Like, who are you? So Akshay, I fought with police. I clamped official. I did, I did all the wrong things in the book and outside of it. And purely because I was right, because, the arrogance of being right, only to learn the hard way that boss, when you are in the jungle, the rules of the jungle apply. You can decide to not be in the jungle, but if you are in the jungle, you can't decide what rules you will play by. You better learn the rules or you'll be crushed. So that happened with me. I learned it the hard way. I think first 3 months, all of this happened with us. Third month, all of this happened with us. And we wrote off this investment, me and my wife, and me and Pachi are all like, okay, guilty, fuck it, let's move on. And 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 then the ego came in, and then we said, no man, like we are smart people. How can this happen? And let's give it one more shot, right? Because once we thought that we are writing a document, I mean, it just melted, right? All the pressure melted, and then we thought, all right, we are writing it off anyway. Why not give it one more quarter? And this time, let's treat this as our business. Let's not treat it as a side business. And I think the first day we rolled up our sleeves and when we went to the restaurant, feeling that all right, we're gonna fix this shit. Uh, we also said, all right, where is the technology? And that's when we said, okay, we are going to fix the tech as well because we want dynamic remote control. We cannot sit at the restaurant anyway. We're going to come here every evening for 2 hours and that's all. So we started building this product. I pulled out two people from my telecom tech team and I said, guys, this is the MVP. We need to make it for our restaurant, nothing else, and go back to doing what you're doing. Practically, those two people continue with us today. One of them is our CTO at Posist. So, so basically, they never went back practically. So we ran that restaurant for 22 months. We fixed that shit beautifully well in the next 3 months. We learned how to deal with police and departments as well. We learned how to deal with staff. The restaurant we tried to solve with technology, fix our unit economic. But I think in the hindsight, we enjoyed it because once we wrote it off, it became a great experimentation ground for us. So we were absolutely fearless because we internalized this. That okay, they are not going to run this for long anyway. Let's learn, let's figure out stuff, break things. So that kind of worked out very, very well. This restaurant was called Rasoi Express. It was in Shalimar Bagh, North Delhi area. And we ran there for a little over, I think 22 months to be precise. And in between, we ended up selling the telecom company. And these are all happening in parallel universes. And we were already 11 months old with the product that we were, using at our own restaurant. and other restaurant owners took notice because imagine this. This is 2011. There's no cloud. iPhone is there in the world, but there's no Android. So technically, a regular Aam Aadmi does not have the understanding of apps and all of that. And so non-smartphone, non-internet days. And in these days, there are these two youngsters running a restaurant in a traditional market where average age of a restaurateur is 50 plus. And and these two people are not even coming to the restaurant. And staff is saying, ki, oh, these guys watch everything, remotely. So we were a subject of envy for all the restaurateurs around. And, the murmurs around was, oh, these people run some McDonald's sort of technology. So a lot of restaurant owners started giving us inquiries, and we categorically said no because we were really not interested in selling this product to them, because we were like, we are running a telecom company. Sakshi, my wife, she was running a web development services company, and both of us were running this restaurant. So we were like, boss, too much on the plate, not interested in adding a fourth, tech product. But then, there came a point where product became really mature. And, an ice cream chain in Delhi called Gyani's Ice Cream, think of it like for people in Bombay, it's a very similar story of Natural, or in Bangalore, Corner House, very similar, thing. In Delhi, Gyani, these guys came to us for help. And they said, we want your product. And we were ecstatic, right? I mean, we were like, wow, Gyani's guys actually helped from us. Like, this is super cool. Like, we grew up eating that. So we said yes to them. By that time, product was also quite mature in the sense that at least we were able to do things in our restaurant very, very well. So we said yes to them. And this was, I think, October of 11. As soon as we said yes to him, we started saying yes to other restaurateurs as well, who we kept on pushing back for the last couple of months. In no time, we had 30, 40 stores who were using our product apart from us. So in January of 12, we decided to incorporate Processed. We also immediately decided to sell off the restaurant because we did not want conflict. A restaurant owner telling a restaurant software was not, feeling well. Plus, we were also done with the restaurant. We had learned whatever we could from that outlet, and we didn't want to do disservice to it. So we sold that restaurant to somebody else. That guy also ran it for another 3 years after us. And that's it. So Jan of 12, actually 1st of February 2012 is when we started Fossil. And we are completing 11 years 1st of Feb in like
Why
20
did
days.
you call it process?
Because,
Was it?
because no, this is a word that I coined. So
Yeah.
billing software, billing system is generally called a POS. POS.
Yeah.
It's
POS,
a
yeah,
short,
point of
it's a
sale.
short for point of sale. So point of sale or POS was a normal industry term that everybody understood. And so when we were thinking about a name, and we started as a POS company. So our primary thing was a restaurant billing software. So I coined this word. Our dental specialist is called dentist. A POS specialist
Okay.
became POS.
Okay. Interesting. So the uh, like you said that when running Rasoi Express, you wanted to fix problems through technology. So the billing was the problem that you fixed through technology, like making sure
No,
that.
no. So the problems were, quite interesting actually. So billing itself was not a problem. Billing is the minimum utility that,
Yeah, there would
anybody
be a
can
lot
start.
of solutions for billing off the shelf as
Correct,
well, I guess.
correct. There were a lot of on-prem, off-the-shelf
Hmm.
products which were working actually fine, right? I think what
Sure.
we embarked on, like the journey to solution was, uh, first of all, staff had a lot of incentive in not giving you bill, basically breaking down that machine, breaking down that system, right? So,
Right.
do you see those placards in some of the
If you
top
don't get a
brands?
bill, it's
Your
free.
bill is free, correct. Imagine the gravity of that statement. A brand like PVR and McDonald's or Subway is putting that card and actually saying that my employee, my teammate is not, trustworthy. As a customer, can you please be vigilant on my behalf? imagine if you are a cashier or if you're a restaurant manager, would you like to stand behind that sort of card? Right? But theft in the restaurant space is so normalized that brand also believes that they need to put that card, and the employee is also like, yeah, lagane, I understand that, right? So, so one problem was that we wanted to fix that nobody is going to get food without, you know, entering it into a system, right? So we wanted to make sure that happens, and those kind of solutions were not enough. We also were born on
Okay, so
cloud.
you're saying that order taking itself should be captured. Like people should be writing order in a notebook.
So, so not only that, actually, what I figured is that, cashier is running the game, right? So cashier has a lot of incentive in, let's say, not billing one dal makhani for $200, right? And pocketing those $200. So I said, okay, if if there are multiple touch points across the restaurant, and restaurant has 22 people working, right? If multiple touch points, get a part of it, these $200 divided across 22 people is not incentive enough, right? So can you make sure that there are so many touch points that there is no single point of failure? If this guy has to thieve money, he needs to collude with all 22, which never happens in the world. So that was the starting idea, right? So we wanted to, second thing is that we wanted to make an unbreakable system. And by that, the logic was that with our POS machine, with our touch screen system, we also placed a laptop, a standby laptop on the side where we can, hey, if machine has a problem, start this laptop. And this product Posist, which what it is today, was always born on cloud. It was a browser born product. So we built a product on browser because we said that in no way, this guy should say, oh, software required installation again, and somebody has to come and do the servicing. You're like, no, fuck this. It has to be online. It has to be there. And we are going to pay extra to make sure that there are parallel internet connections. Those days were different. And we said we're going to maintain that, but this is not going to go installed. So we never installed the product on our system. Second thing, actually, what we were trying to also solve was um, inventory control system. So inventory control, you will not believe. I mean, it just, again, it just blows my mind. We are in 2023 today. And even today, inventory control is an underrated problem. People recognize it more today, but, back in the day, it was always absent. So we wanted to make sure that our recipes, our variants, you won't believe what all did we caught. We actually realized that a lot of pilferage in the food was happening, or a lot of margin pilferage was happening because of the recipes. But we also figured that how thieving happened. For example, you ordered 8 kg paneer. Now you are trying to count how many pieces of paneer will go in one dish. You are trying to count how many paneer dishes you could sell with it. But the fact is that paneer is 100 rupees a kg. I remember, it was 100 rupees a kg then. I don't know how much is it today. We realized that the supplier is only supplying 8 kgs. And the guy who is accepting the order in the morning at 8 a.m. is signing on 10 kg. And these guys are distributing 2 kgs worth of money, one each. Now we only have received 8. Your 20% is out. Things like these. Now, how do you catch it? Again, we figured that there is a variance in the behavior. We deployed 2 different uh, suppliers for each item. And we started figuring out the yield from that item by supplier. And as soon as the yield for a supplier dropped, we caught hold of him and we told him that, dude, we're gonna complain. Tell us the reality. I actually got suppliers who actually told me that, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do something and your guy is gonna tell you that there is a complaint in the product. Day after, I'm going to give him a bottle of wine, and you call him again and he will give you a good feed. Let me show you the demo. I thought, all right,
Yeah.
good. Right? So we basically tried to go very, very deep in exactly how theft happened, how the margins, so all of this we were solving through tech, and we were able to do it, quite well.
Okay. So, the product you started selling, just tell me the components in it. One is like the point of sale billing,
So when we
and
started, it was billing software, we call it front of the house. So point of sale software. Um, and then it was back-end inventory control, where you will make your purchases, you'll make your recipe, and it will deduct inventory based on your front-end sale. And the third piece was the CRM, where you will, like good old days, you will take a customer's mobile number and all that they are ordering, that will remain in the history, their address, etc., will remain in the history. And you will be able to, take out the CRM data, slotted, basis what a customer likes and how much they spend, etc., etc. And you'll be able to run your marketing SMS campaign. We were the SMS champions anyway. So we basically built that in. So our first product in 2012 was these three components: POS, inventory control, and CRM. Today that has grown into 14 different modules. So now it is more complex, right? It starts from table reservation system on the restaurant side, not in the consumer side. So think of it like all the hosts sitting with the tablet outside. So that kind of thing. So from reservation system to inside the store POS system to tablets or mobile phone that a waiter carries at times to take your order at your table. Then it goes back to KDS system, which is called kitchen display system, which is what, the tickets that go in the kitchen, go in the kitchen, and it can go like you can order a burger, a fries, and a Coke. And this order will get disintegrated into three different screens because there is a Coke station, fries station, and a burger station. And then they will go to an assembler station where all these three components will come and he'll assemble it into a single order. And then it will go to a dispatcher station where there's going to be a customer screen which will say order number 69. You will go and he will pass it on to you and he will say, okay, this is that. So all the customer display screen, assembler station, dispatcher system, that's a part of the kitchen management. Then it goes back to the inventory control, and inventory control has a lot of components now. So there is a, you know, in the restaurant side system, and then there's an outside of the restaurant system, which is for example, your procurement, your warehouse. As a brand, you can have a central kitchen where you procure stuff, warehouse them, and then cook some intermediate recipe. If you're an Indian restaurant or a Mexican restaurant, you may be making a lot of curries and a lot of, purees and all of that, and they will be transported to the restaurant. If you're a bakery, you may be making sponges and a lot of other stuff. So you have a central kitchen, base kitchen, and then our CRM continues. We don't do marketing piece on it, but we do the full-fledged CRM. We also do all kinds of integrations. So today, Swiggy is the motto in India, Hunger Station, Jahez, Deliveroo, Talabat in Middle East, in Europe. So we integrate all these aggregators into the product. So when you order, this order land in the restaurant in fraction of a second, because, delivery ki game mein 30 seconds can be make or break for a brand. And then we also have a product which powers call centers of some of the large brands because, for example, even in India, when nobody is actually technically calling to place the order, but let's say a brand has 100 stores across India, they want a central control center which actually keeps a watch on which outlet is getting order from where and is that order getting, accepted on time, delivered on time. They have a control center. A lot of countries outside of India are still getting calls and like a massive number of calls. So we basically have a cloud call center product, but that call center is also a food call center. So all our 14 products are in the restaurant space. We have a product for Cloud Kitchen, which is a very, very specifically Cloud Kitchen management product. We have a product which works in banqueting and catering. So we work with a lot of hotels, but we only do the F&B side for them. We work with a lot of hospitals, F&B. We recently, we powered sports stadiums and sports cities. So we were powering FIFA stadium food this time. So
Okay.
that was a big one
Amazing.
for us.
I want to understand this inventory slash purchase a little better. So, uh, if a restaurant buys a software, then do they have to first of all upload all the menu, and then for each menu item, do they have to like specify that say paneer makhani needs 200 grams of paneer and tomato puree and this is this. So they have to
Yeah,
enter the
yeah,
entire
yeah. So
SKUs
they
that
have
may
to
consume.
They have to make a full recipe, and the recipe will be really granular. They will say, all right, one portion of paneer makhani is going to be, let's say, 350 grams. And it is, and what our product will do is, see, a restaurant does not do the recipe of 350 grams of paneer makhani, right? So chef will say, all right, I know how to make 10 kg paneer makhani. So he will make the recipe of 10 kg paneer makhani. Our software will portion it, and portion wise is going to be a one portion recipe. And, every time, uh, something happens in deduct. We also do things like, some very interesting, innovations on, I don't know, even if it's innovation or not. For example, people in the restaurant, they don't necessarily use the same unit of measurement for a certain item in which they buy. For example, they can buy salt in kgs, but when he's writing the recipe, he will say tablespoon, correct? There can be the other side as well. For example, in India, especially North India, when they buy rice, right? So they will not say quintal or kg. They will say ek katta rice. Now katta is like one, word that they're using to define 40 kg rice. So what we did is that our product also allowed them to create their own unit, buy in their own unit, and consume in their own unit, and it keeps interchanging into the unit which needs reporting.
My very first job when I was about 17, 18 was at McDonald's. And I was
Wow.
obviously a group, but I remember like the restaurant closed at 11, and from 11 to 12, 1 hour, the manager would be sitting on his
Correct. He'll be doing, yeah. All
So,
these,
so now
all
I
these
get these
cardboard,
thoughts.
all the cardboard, he will be continuously, measuring
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Okay, fascinating. So, tell me about your customer acquisition journey. Like, so initial customer acquisition was organic. How did you scale that?
Well, I think customer acquisition journey was quite a journey, and I think it continues. I don't think anything has changed. Just that we have become either a little better or numb to the challenge. I don't know which
Okay.
one, but I think the biggest challenge that hit us as soon as we started Faucets was this realization that restaurant owner does not have a degree, does not have a qualification, does not come from a certain background. The problem is that a lawyer went to law school and knows other lawyers. A doctor went to medical school, knows other doctors. Restaurant owner can be a property dealer, can be a lawyer, can be a PA, can be an engineer, can be anyone. And the problem is that basis their background, they will think about their restaurant differently. Somebody who is, coming from a media background, and if he starts a restaurant, he'll be very, very high on branding and messaging and content and this and that. While a property dealer will be too big on the location and everything can be mediocre. And a chef will be too much fascinated by food and he will probably think about it differently. So we realize this one is the dissonance in the behavior and the temperament of our persona. And you're like, oh man, what have we done? Like, this is crazy because now I can't define my persona and have a single messaging for them. I need to tailor it based on who am I talking to. And the second biggest challenge, or rather it was the first challenge in the order, was because anybody can be a restaurant owner, now my targeting is fun, right? I remember Practo, Shashank is a dear friend, and Practo also started like 10 years before or 2 years before us. So we used to chat a lot. And I used to be so envious because, Shashank will tell me, oh, dude, we signed this dentist and he has 7 friends and he has already referred us. And now, and I'm like, you know what? Mine is exactly reverse. Number one, I, if I win over a restaurant owner, and if I sell it to them, one is they don't know any other restaurant owner. Two, the ones they know are also the restaurant owners operating in their geographic area. So they term them as competitors, and they don't want to refer us because if our software is working for them, they look at us like a best kept secret. They don't want Bajuwala restaurant owner to know that, okay, this will give you more power. So our customer acquisition journey, started with these challenges, like raw but real challenges. And I think first year we experimented a lot, and our experimentation went wild. Like we did everything that we could afford or was possible. So right from um, making a listing on IndiaMart, TradeMart.com, buying a package from Just Dial, doing, of course, good old SEO, um, trying to run, paid ads, to booking a stall in a trade show, uh, finding anything that looks like a restaurant conference or a hospitality conference, knocking the door of on restaurant and hospitality associations, um, to going, deploying a
Door
team,
to door. Yeah.
knocking
Feet on
doors.
street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we did
Right.
literally everything. And we started qualifying and disqualifying, these, right? Because one of the biggest issues also was that, uh, there were not enough searches for our category. So we were actually way ahead of our time. And I'm actually grateful to myself and Sakshi and everybody else who stuck around, because we can say this today because we survived. And thankfully, these kind of wisdoms are always hindsight, right? अगर कोई मुझे 2012 में बता देता कि how ahead we were of our time, I would have said, "Boss, this is bullshit, not doing it." I think we only realized it in 2016. Honestly, the first realization when I really felt, oh shit, I think we were too ahead of our time, but we survived. So that was in 2016, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah. I
But
want to know why.
yeah,
Why were you too
so
ahead of your time? Was it because it was a subscription and nobody used to buy subscription?
no, not only that. That was, of course, one of the parts, but I think we were too ahead of our time at a fundamental level. Let me start with this. Uh, we started in an era where previous generation, our parents' generation, was still in power, especially in the restaurant space. So the average age was very, very high. Two, internet penetration was genuinely poor, and internet speeds were really bad, and internet was, not reliable. Three, this is not an era of tablet and smartphone. So people are not used to apps. People are not used to DIY. I don't know if, if many people realize this or not, especially, our generation, you know, 85, 85 to 95 born, people. Uh, I think if you look, you will realize that one of the biggest behavioral transformation that has happened all over the world, and especially India, is that a country which was with the normal way of dealing was that we will have somebody else do something for us, became DIY, right? Smartphone, because it's a personal device, it actually changed people's behavior toward DIY. Uh, and that approach in itself is a big, disruption, leading to 20,000 other things, right? Anyway, so we were ahead of our time. One, because of these infrastructural things, right? Second, we were ahead of our time because this was also the era when people were not buying software. People were still like our parent generation, they only bought a computer. A computer wala installed the Windows pirated, Office pirated, Tally pirated, everything pirated. So these guys, and it's not like that they were misers. It didn't even occur to them, right? Paying for software, paying for software look like a crime, right? Anything that you can't touch and feel and you can't own and is not an asset in your books, you're fine. If you don't pay for service, you don't. So, and in that era, we were trying to sell a cloud-based point of sale system, which requires internet, is not going to be installed in your system. It's going to remain online. And to make matters worse, this is also the era because previous generation is in power, everybody is trying to underbuild. They're trying to feed the back, and they are shit scared about anything that is online. So their PA is saying, "Ki, don't take online software. Your entire details will go to government." And people are like horrified. So we were ahead of our time in these aspects, right? Practically from an ecosystem perspective as well, and why it changed in 2016 is that we also were ahead of our time because this was also an era where online ordering is not happening. Online payment is not happening. Products are not integrating with each other. You are not always on the move. So your customer is actually sitting at his her own restaurant the entire day. You can't replace that human with the software. We've had a funny incident where in RK Puram in Delhi, a very popular bakery, one of our sales guys back in 2012, one day made the sale, came out very happy. And it was like we were, I think, selling for 12,000 rupees per restaurant per year. Very cheap price. Uh, it was still costly for people because they were you not used to pay for the software. And even if they were used to pay for the software, it was like a one-time 5,000 rupees and that's it. And we were saying that we have to charge you 12,000 rupees every year. So people used to be like, so we used to, how we used to sell? We used to convince people by saying, hey, okay, let us assume this is 12,000 rupees one time. You use it for this year. If you don't like it, you will not renew it anyway. So why are you threatening about 12,000 rupees? Like, so we basically did a lot of pep talk, selling and all that. So this guy came back and he said, okay, I've got this legendary iconic bakery that, all is done. I said, okay. 2 days from then, we had a call from that guy and he was abusing and shouting and he was like, guys, please come back, refund my money, take your product out. And this guy went and I told him, okay, will you go there, relax, calm him down. Let me talk to him if I can convince him and if he understand what's the problem. So the story was that this guy's son, and son was young, 21-year-old. He had just joined the union. And first thing that he tried to do was to replace Papa with boss. So, and Papa was the one who figured this and he said, fuck you. And, nothing doing. And you bloody get your 40 ass on the counter every day. This is how the shit will end. So the Uncle G was like, of course, he was like, he, by the way, he was not abusing us. He was abusing his son. He was like, my son is like a stupid fellow and he has done, I handful with request, whatever, damage I've done to you guys, please take that money, but please refund my money and continue. So I had a chat with that guy and I said, Uncle, uh, is there a problem with the software? He said, no, there's no problem with the software, but I don't want your software. I said, okay. He said, convince me, why should I have your software? I said, okay. Now this is that classic story. Have you heard that joke of, you know, generally people call it, with Bill Gates' name, that Bill Gates once went to a fisherman and, and, and fisherman was sleeping. And Bill Gates said, hey, dude, why are you sleeping? He said, I had the catch of the day. He said, okay, but then why are you not catching more? He said, what will happen if I do that? He said, you'll be able to sell more. He said, then? He said, you'll make more money. Then? He said, you'll have more fishing nets. He said, then? And Bill Gates, of course, takes his thing to like large fishery. And he said, then you sell your fisheries company and sit back and relax. He said, what do you think I'm doing right now? So, so I really had moment with this uncle wherein when I said, Uncle, software is going to allow you to automate your trade. He said, then what will I do? I said, then you are free from your store and you can do other things. He said, but I don't have any other thing to do. I said, oh, then you can open another store. He said, no, I am done with this store only, man. I'm not going to open another store. I said, oh, but we are also going to make sure that there is no pilferage and there is no chori and thieving at your store. He said, dude, I sit here 12 hours. If anybody is gonna try thieving anything, I'll cut their hand. So I said, okay, so I ran on a positive. So I said, okay, uncle, can you pass on the phone to my sales guy? And I called him and I said, hello, he's right. We can't replace him with the software. Refund his money, come back. So these were this is why, we were too ahead of our time. there were there were no reasons for people to technically adopt it. But these kind of incidents also helped us triangulate our ideal customer profile. So these kind of incidents 2, 3, 4 times made us realize that our ideal customer is a new age restaurateur, a fresh restaurateur, a young restaurateur, somebody who is not willing to sit at the restaurant full time. Somebody either has other businesses or has plans to open more stores. So we basically qualified, like by 2013, within that 1 year, we had a very solid qualification of who is our ideal customer. And and I can tell you, until 2015, or rather I would say 16, 80% of our business was new restaurant installation. It is only after 16 that the percentage of replacement, an established restaurant using a legacy system, replacing that, it actually accelerated after 16. And cut to 2023 today, 95% of our business is replacement. It's not new. In fact, today, tables have turned in a way that a new restaurant owner, a new age restaurant owner, is actually quite a curse. We don't want to serve them because because we are a very very large product. We are not only a learning curve. I think it's like see, if I mean, this will sound very very pompous, but beer with the brand. Uh, it's like if I put you in a Mercedes on day one, while you will appreciate Mercedes, but you will technically not be able to appreciate it for what it is. I have to put you in a Maruti 800 for a year for you to truly appreciate what Mercedes brings, right? So in our case, a new restaurateur, appreciates us, but can also take a lot of goodness for granted. And we are a very customer centric company, and that is something that you can validate by doing a Google search. So if you will Google search Posist reviews, you will see thousands of reviews, right? Like the number is so high that I can't even fake it. So, and these are the reviews where you will find people love our support, people love our, assistance. People will talk about that, oh, nobody has ever duped them. We are the company who refunds money if things don't go well. So we have remained customer centric at a short-term cost. And, those short-term costs were really costly. But I think we invested all these things believing that there's going to be another day and we are going to live for long. And this guy is going to turn around and come back. So don't worry, chill, relax. So I think today we realize that people who have actually used something crack or who have a high stakes problem that is unsolved, have a pain, appreciate us more. And people who don't have pain or don't have a perception of pain right now can appreciate us, but not exactly for what, we really bring.
Like a lot of SaaS companies start with SME first and then they move
Correct.
to then
Correct.
enterprise. So it's,
Correct.
which
Correct.
is
So
something
we had the same curve. Between 2012 to 2016, we were an India focused SMB mid market at best product. 2016, we switched gears, hard switch, and we went enterprise India, and we started toying with SMB outside of India. And for us, outside of India meant Singapore and Dubai. In 2017, we solidified that motion, and
what
we
kind of
started.
revenue did you have in 2016 to did you need external funding
Right.
to
Yeah.
go?
Revenue in 2016 was very, very less. I think we closed 2016 March. I hope I'm right. I think we closed it with 1 crore 10 lakh in revenue.
Hmm.
Uh,
How could you afford going abroad? Like,
I think we were still profitable. So we operated company with profits from day one. Even at a 2 lakh. So by the way, we were profitable in 2,40,000 rupees a month. Yeah, we made 40,000 that month. Okay. So our team was always lean, and we maintained it by design. I think both me and Sakshi, temperament wise, uh, you know, we cannot sleep if it's burning, and by that, we invest a lot in the forward growth, but not at the right strong unit economics. So I think all those principles, nowadays are being talked about a lot, because there is a downturn. But but over the, I think that is only for a year. After, as soon as funding starts again, people will be like, yeah, bullshit. Growth. So yeah, so I hear your question. I think what I can tell you is that we started going outside, but we kept on increasing the price of our product. So important thing for you to understand is that a product that we sold for 12,000 rupees per year in 2012, uh, we increased the price to 24,000 in 2014. We tried increasing the price in 2015 to 40,000, but that did not work because value creation was not enough. It was our fault. Uh, and then when I said we switched hard, when we moved to enterprise, or rather a chain first approach, it is technically not even enterprise. We just said that it's chain first product, and we rewrote our entire product from scratch. So we re-architected that. Our price from 12,000 and 24,000 straight went to 1.2 lakh and 2.4 lakh per restaurant per year. So this was a hard ideal customer profile change as well, where we stopped talking to small restaurants. And I think our definition of small was, if the restaurateur is thinking small. For example, if you are a quick service store, let's say you're a waffle store chain, right? And you have 5 stores and you're sitting on it, and you don't think about it. Technically, you're a small guy for me, because not because you don't have money or you have lack of money, because your ambition is so small that probably you will find me not only costly, you will find me ridiculous. And I agree with you. Like we've been pretty, self-aware about it. So in 2016, when we switched these gears, the idea was not that we were selling 1.2 lakh products to the same people who we were selling 12,000 to. No, I think the game was in qualification. So we basically hard qualifying. We trained our sales team to walk away faster than the prospect can walk away from you. I love, I love those calls where there was no bullshit spam call that I receive. Hello sir, credit card लेना है? मैं बोलता हूँ कि नहीं. And before me, she puts the call. I'm like, this is perfect. ये बंदी mission, she's absolutely mission oriented, and she has no fucks to give. And this is great, right? And I don't appreciate calls when somebody is saying, hello sir, I'm from this. Good morning, sir. Yeah, and do you want personal? I'm like, why did we do that? So we basically trained our sales team, to ask very, very hard questions to understand the state of that business. For example, like I'll give you one definition and it will make sense. Uh, for somebody to buy a 1.2 lakh per year sort of product, we were very, very sure that we need to deliver at least a saving of 12 lakh to somebody. Then only you justify taking 10%. Don't think that it's a subscription cost, right? So it's a ROI. Now, if you are pitching a 12 lakhs worth of savings, you're tax Superman. You can't save 10% for someone, right? That business owner is not that stupid that you are coming from outside and you will, click and save it, right? So let's be serious about it. Let's be real about it. Let's assume that your product is going to bring in 3 to 5% efficiency in the business, and you need to find those areas, right? Now, for that means for you to save 12 lakh for someone in a year, or a lakh rupees in a month, by this definition, that person should be making a sale of at least, making a profit, let's say, of a margin of at least 20 lakhs in a month. For somebody to make a margin of 10 to 20 lakhs in a month, 10 lakhs in a month, for somebody to make a margin of 10 lakhs in a month, by worst logic, they have to make a sale of 50 lakhs in a month. That was the golden number. So if your restaurant is doing less than 50 lakhs revenue a month, wrong answer. Right. Right. So our ICP change. Now, when you go to a restaurant bar who is doing a crore a month, boom, you are in the game. Our conversion rate has been 85%. Not on the cold call, of course. I'm saying from a qualified one. Yeah. Yeah. So once we qualify a prospect, our conversion from qualification to, to convert was very, very high. Right. So we basically effectuated that. Akshay, because you asked that question, how could you remain profitable or how could you grow outside? I, I, I have a very strong belief, and this is something that I am not only saying for my own business. I do this. This is my passion. I do this with other entrepreneurs. I do this with my portfolio companies, my friends, where I believe that if you are pricing right and if you're not wasting your marketing, your sales dollars in chasing or prospecting or convincing or working the wrong people, you can be solid. Like you can be super profitable. Your CAC will always be very, very low. Your CAC will return a long-term value. So for example, for us, if you are a qualified prospect and we have hard qualified, honestly, even if you don't buy today, we don't feel bad because we know that we have left you with such solid information and understanding that you may not be buying today because of 20,000. You may not have budget. You may not have conviction. You may believe that your business is not ready for it. You may have, you may have an idea that, oh, I want to try a cheaper one. I know that in next 3 years, you are going to come back. So our optimism, if you will talk to an average Posist salesperson, they will never tell you that there is a lost opportunity. And I'm not just saying it for saying, right? Because each of them have seen so many people coming back that the general operating belief of the company is that there is no lost prospect. It is only delayed. I got right. And that allows us to put our best, in every conversation we do with the customers. But at the prospecting stage, at the qualification stage, we have proved. Like we will ask you 20,000 questions. And if you, at any point, if you are KG and you are saying, "Ji, oh, no, why should I tell you that?" Or if you say, "Hey, mera theek chal raha hai, my offer is doing fine. I'm curious of, what do you have to offer?" The guy will very politely, with hand folded, he will say, "Sir, let's not fix what is not broken. If you have a pain, we can try and figure out if we can solve. If you don't have a pain, why are you wasting your time? I can give you a demo, but it won't help you." And
So
that's it.
what does
Move
your
on.
sales funnel look like? Like from top of the funnel till conversion? Like how do you do your lead gen? What channel of what all channels do you use and so on?
So today our sales. So one thing is that 95% plus of our business is completely inbound, including enterprise. So we our marketing channels are very educative and brand marketing and long tail marketing channels. So we do a lot of trade shows globally. For example, in 2022, we participated in 27 events globally. And these are trade shows, exhibitions, conferences. So in conferences, we sponsor, I speak at conferences. In trade shows, we will put like large booths. We will also do our own events. We will do, small roundtables. We will do our own mixers. Um, Apart from that, we have a digital side, which is a content property that we run. So if you will search uh, the restaurant time, or if you will search any question, how to open a cloud kitchen, how to start a restaurant bar, there is a very, 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 very high chance that you will land up on a restaurant time lot. These are all primarily written content. We experience 3.5 million unique visitors every year on the blog, completely organic. Uh, our blog, I can share some numbers as well. Our blog and website generate 600 plus qualified hot leads every month, and this is zero CAC. We don't do paid advertising, just by the way. We don't do paid advertising at all because we don't understand it well or it didn't work for us. I don't know. Uh, Also because we don't do SMB now. So the reason to do paid advertising also fell, through the cracks further. So our primary business today is upper mid market, large enterprise. Our ticket size is $100,000, to $1.5 million annual. We still do, $10,000 to $100,000, deal, but those are actually not the ones where we will be working hard. It's actually mostly reverse. So, for example, there can be there can be a brand which has only 2 stores right now, but they're for 200 and very, very aggressive, solid company. So today that contract is going to look like a $10,000 or $5,000 thing. So we continue doing that. But again, we qualify these very, very clearly that why are you buying us? Because honestly, we do 3-year contract. If you are not, if there's even a little chance that you're not going to renew next year with us because you were not able to take value out, or we were not able to provide value, or you found it costly, you would rather abort it this time. I mean, you will say, well, let's come back once you're ready. This is not the right time. And you will also waste your money by the way. So we are also nice with customers that way because, uh, you know, we are above that greed or lust, I would say. May not be greed, but I mean, we want to take everybody's money, but not really. I think for us, prosperity of any business can only be achieved when you have longevity and predictability with your customers, with your revenue, with your cash flow. And that's the only way you can continue building your product. When a customer signs me up for 3 years, and I have a visibility of 3 years, or now when a customer makes an ask, and if I let's say develop a feature for them, I know that this is gonna be used for like 3 years. When I commit a mistake, uh, you know, customer knows that he signed me up for 3 years. I mean, they're not going to fire me instantly, right? So there is no negative stress in the system that, uh, will he renew next month? Will he renew next month?
That
What?
constant press control.
So when you take every kind of negative stress out of the system, then system operates in a positive stress, right? It's like I define negative and positive stress as when you are running to win versus when you are running to not lose. And when you are running to not lose, there is there is a lot of negative pressure, built into.
Amazing. And sales international, domestic, all of it is happening from India. Like your sales team
No,
is
no,
in
no.
India.
We have people on the ground in different countries. So we have our team right now present in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, uh, Singapore, Bangkok, Mexico City, and US.
And so this would not be like inside sales because these are high
No,
ticket deals. So
these are high
like
ticket deals. These are not
sitting
inside
on a
sales.
table
Yeah,
across the table.
most of the heavy lifting you will see happens from India. Most of the background work happens from India.
Like so, uh, my last uh, topic that I want to talk to you is about your journey as an angel investor. So what made you want to be an angel investor? How do you evaluate people who pitch to you? Tell me a bit about that.
So why I became an angel investor, I think, very like I'll go back to probably my uh, early days. I think I always wanted to, invest in other people's equity, even when angel investing was not popular. In fact, I can tell you that it was so difficult to broach the subject that my first angel investment would have happened in 2011. And there was this guy who was also an entrepreneur, in our kind of stage. And we were formulating process end of 11. And this guy was, had started a company like 3 months before us. And he was still in the early stages. And the guy was absolutely on point. Product was phenomenal. We knew that it will go places. And I remember in December of 11 or Jan 12, this guy was trying to raise money in the angel Indian angel network, Mumbai angels in India, and was getting harassed left, right, center with those folks. People were asking him random shit, giving him crap term sheets. And he was, he used to come in the evening rant about it. Me and Sakshi looked at each other and said, hey, we should invest in this company. And it occurred to us very naturally. And actually, this, again, as I said, this is not the time when angel investor in India in 2011 was somebody who must be sitting with like 100 crore cash, must be like
Or
like a,
someone who's like US,
yeah,
IIT in the
or a
US
retired
working
guy, right?
international.
Like, so Sakshi or me both said, "Ki, we should invest in this company." We couldn't muster the courage to ask because he was a like he was a fellow entrepreneur, and we weren't sure how will he look at it, will he accept it, is it going to be nice, and exactly 1 year from then we kept in touch, we kept on bouncing off ideas, helping each other, right? And he made it to YC from India, very early YC batch. Uh, that company today does 80 million in ARR. And
Which company is that? So who's the founder?
this company is called Plivo, Plivo. Founder is Venki. And and Plivo is a Twilio competitor.
Okay.
Head on
So
Twilio competitor.
you understood that business well.
Correct. I understood telecom business very, very well. So of course, natural integration become. But I think the bigger so Venki was the guy, and we never told him, by the way, this one. We never told him that. We of course told him very, very well, but we couldn't muster the courage, right? So these were the seeds of angel investment, where I think thankfully for me and Sakshi both, temperament is very similar about these things. I think our risk appetite is very similar. So I'm like, I think that's great. Otherwise, it would have been a little bit of a problem. Um, but I think I believe in entrepreneurs is like it's too much. I think we genuinely believe in entrepreneurs. We believe in creators. We don't mind losing money at their hands because we are also pro learning. And I'm not saying this in a virtuous sort of way. I'm saying this in a very practical way because I have made 48 investments so far. And yeah, and I can tell you that I think apart from cash return, I think the amount of knowledge, amount of learning, number of journeys that I have gone through with all these friends, all these entrepreneurs, the number of journeys that I keep going through with them, the magnitude, depth, and the width of experience I gain from these 45, 48 and more is worth more than I have invested or they can return. Like I can speak to you about anything under the sun, and so much of that knowledge comes from fellow entrepreneurs, right? For example, today in this podcast, you learned a little more about, restaurant backend, a little more about why a banquet will use a software, right? Now imagine if you were talking to me 12 times a year and I'm discussing with you like my deep, dark problems as well as, my bright, loud wins. Your perspective about my business will be as much like you'll be looking at a restaurant and you'll be feeling like, you know, sending a software to you, right? Because you are now investing in that, right? So I think for us that journey was important. When we were saying that, oh, let's invest in Privo, I think me and Sakshi were not really thinking that, oh, he will go to IT and he'll make a lot of money. I think we were like, it was just a romanticism, like the basic romanticism, fundamental stuff. We love talking to him. He loves talking to us. This is high energy. This is awesome. Let's be about it. Let's buy a small ticket in it. So I think that happened. We did not really think a lot about it. But when he went to YCL, people started flying. It got validated. Okay, हमें सोचना तो आता है थोड़ा सा. But I think our first angel investment really happened in 2016. When another company, a friend, who we were helping in general pro bono, bouncing ideas and all. He needed, you know, 10 lakh rupees, and he was like a little bit of a deep set, and I loaned that money, and I of course believed in him, and 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 the project for which he was asking 10 lakh uh, uh, was also YC, and then Techstars. And I actually told him, and he was worried that what if he doesn't make it to YC. So I told him, I said, don't worry, this 10 lakh is not a your burden. It is also not philanthropy. Take this 10 lakh, go to YC, go to Techstars. If you go through, great. If you don't, keep this money. Whenever you raise your next round, whatever that valuation is, convert this into equity, and I'm fine with it. So these guys could not clear YC. They, I think they did Techstars. I don't remember now. But that company, went on to do good stuff. Eventually got acquired, and that kind of became the start, of that journey. And since then, I mean, it has only increased over time. But one of the major reasons in 2016 for this to happen was actually a personal side event. We we got a massive acquisition offer, and money was good. Money was good for on stage at that time. Money was also good at an individual level.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, okay. What are some of those iconic brands that use Posist in India, like
India, a
cheese
lot of
or
them.
whatever?
India, um, can't just start cooking. So right from your Sanjeev Kapoor restaurant, yellow chili, yellow mirchi, to, you see this, Dabur has this, chain of restaurants called, um Punjab Grill, Fresco, Zambar, they're all over. You have, these iconic locations, I mean, places and all iconic locations like, Copper Chimney, Bombay Brasserie, Irish House, all these use of. Then QSRs like, Belgian Waffles, Wow Momo, not a homegrown chain, in every city. Then in international brands, you will find us in Carl's Jr., Taco Bell, Subway. So all 700 Subways in India use us. Um, you'll also find us in, top 5 9 restaurants. You find us in, non large restaurant bars. So I can name them for each city. Each city has its own, ecosystem. But if it's a large restaurant bar, if it's a place which has, for example, Sunburn is a popular brand name. In Goa, in Hyderabad, they are a customer. Um, and I'm actually a lot of iconic, those small locations like, for example, uh, North Delhi has North Delhi has Murthal, right? So a highway dhaba on Murthal on Ahuja number one, which is like a 60, 70 dhaba. They use us. North India has these beautiful Havelis on highway.
Yeah, yeah,
So
very,
Haveli is a customer.
amazing.
And I can keep on thinking, like in
Yeah,
Bangalore,
that,
you
that
have
is enough.
Magnolia Bakery from New
Okay.
York. You have Arbor Brewing Company in MG Road. So you find it all at all these locations.
Amazing, amazing.